Sairam, this is Megha Miss here, and today we will continue with our revision part 2 for our lesson number 1, that is laws of motion. Okay students, I hope you have seen part 1 properly. Now we will continue with the part 2, the remaining lesson. So the next part which you studied was the uniform circular motion. Yes students, now what is this uniform circular motion? When an object is moving with a constant speed along a circular path, the change in velocity is only due to the change in direction. Hence, it is a accelerated motion. What you will call it, students, as accelerated motion. When students, when the object is moving with a constant speed along a circular path, and when the change in velocity is there only because of the change in direction, it is accelerated motion. Okay. When an object moves with a constant speed along a circular path, the motion is called as uniform circular motion. Okay students, example, motion of a stone in a sling or that of any point on a bicycle wheel when they are in uniform motion. Okay students, I hope you understood the definition. When the object moves with a constant speed along a circular path. Okay, then determining the direction of velocity in uniform circular motion. Where is the direction of this velocity? We will determine that. For that, what we have to do, students? We have to take a circular disc and put a 5 rupee coin at the point along its edge. Okay. Make it move around its axis by putting a pin around it. You can see in the diagram. Okay. When the disc is moved at a higher speed, the coin will be thrown off as shown in the figure 1.11. Can you see the figure? You are seeing the coin is coming out when the disc is moved very fast. Okay. Note the direction in which it is thrown off. We have to note the direction. Repeat the action by placing the coin at different points. Then I will change the position of the coins. Okay. At the edge of the circle. At the edge of the circle, I will change the position of the coin and I will observe what is the direction at which the coin is thrown off. Okay. So what we see, students? The coin will be thrown off in the direction of the tangent which is perpendicular to the radius of the disc. Okay, now you know disc is circle. Yes, so circle has got a radius, and hence what we have seen that the coin will be thrown off. Okay, that is in the direction of the tangent, forming a perpendicular 90-degree angle with the radius. Okay, thus the direction in which it gets thrown off depends on its position at the moment of getting thrown off. Okay, it depends upon the position at which the coin comes. Okay, it means that as the coin moves along a circular path, the direction of its motion is changing every time. Yes, its direction of motion will be changing. Now when I am rotating it in a circular manner, the coin is also rotating with the disc, and hence its direction is changing. Okay, as the coin moves along the circular path, the direction of its motion also changes at every point, and hence you will just remember here important, the coin is thrown off which is forming a tangent with the, that is a perpendicular with the radius of the circle. Okay, circle means which circle, students? The circular disc. Okay, because coin is also a circle only. Okay, but we are talking about a tangent which is forming to the circular circle of the disc. Okay, I hope it is clear till here. We'll proceed. So next part you studied was the balanced and unbalanced force. Now what is, students, is balanced and unbalanced force? You must have played tug of war. Yes, so long as the forces applied by both the sides are equal, that is balanced, the center of the rope is static in spite of the applied forces. You know tug of war. Okay, if like 10 people are on the either sides of that rope, of course it will be pulled with the same force will be applied, and there will be no balanced forces will be there. Okay, on the other hand, when the applied forces become unequal, now for the either side, if I keep 10 people and on this side, one side I keep 5 people, what will happen, students? The forces gets disturbed. Yes, it becomes unbalanced. So on the other hand, when the applied force becomes unequal, unbalanced, a net force gets applied in the direction of the greater force. Okay, so 10 people will move or you will say pull the rope more, yes, than the 5 people. So where is the greater force? On the side where the 10 people are there. Okay, and hence the center of rope shifts in that direction. Yes, the center of rope come towards the people where it is 10 people are there, not where the 5 people are pulling the rope. Okay students, very simple understanding of balanced and unbalanced forces. Okay, next we studied about the Newton's laws. Okay, now this is the Newton's first law of motion. Before we saw the Newton's equations, 3 equations of motion we saw. These are the laws of motions. Okay, an object you will learn by heart as it is. Okay, an object continues to remain at rest or in a state of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. Okay, so object, if it is at rest or if it is in a state of uniform motion, it is moving in a straight line in a uniform motion, it will continue to do that until an external forces does not act on that. Okay, Newton's first law explains the phenomenon of inertia. Inertia means it is a state. Okay, it is the inability of an object to change its state of motion on its own. It cannot change its state. That means inertia. Okay, it also explains the unbalanced forces which cause a change in the state of an object at rest or a uniform motion. Okay, when the change of state will take place, when the unbalanced force acts on it. Okay, all instances of inertia are examples of Newton's first law of motion. Okay students, I hope till here it is clear to you. Important is the statement. Okay, that is, an object continues to remain at rest or in a state of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. Okay students, then momentum we studied. Yes, what is momentum students? It has magnitude as well as direction. So we say that its direction is same as that of the velocity. In SI system, the unit of momentum is kg meter per second, and in CGS system it is gram centimeter per second. Okay students, you will remember this. How you will define momentum? Momentum is the product of mass and velocity of an object. T is equal to m into v. Okay, and hence as it has got magnitude as well as direction, magnitude means some value we say. Okay, hence we will call it as a vector quantity. Okay students, I hope momentum, here you will just remember the definition, formula, and it is a vector quantity. Okay, we'll move to the next part. Then you saw about the Newton's second law of motion. Yes, what is that students? The rate of change of momentum is proportional to the applied force, and the change of momentum occurs in the direction of the force. Okay, so the rate of change of momentum is proportional. Whatever will be the change in the momentum, it will be proportional to the force which is applied. Okay, and this whatever change in momentum will be there will be in the direction of the force. Okay, we'll just see an equation. Suppose an object of mass m has the initial velocity u. Okay, when a force F is applied in the direction of its velocity for time t, its velocity becomes v. Yes, initial and final, you will have two velocities, right? So what is the force applied? F, and how much time it is taking? T. Okay, the initial momentum of the object, we will give it as mu. Okay, and what is its final momentum students? Mv. Okay, so in time t. Okay, rate of change of momentum is equal to change in momentum upon time. Okay students, so we have to calculate what is the rate of change of momentum. So we have to do it, use the formula, rate of change of momentum is equal to change in momentum upon time. Okay, so what it will happen now students? Change in momentum means what? Initial momentum, final momentums, two you have. So you will subtract what? Mv minus mu. Okay, upon t. Okay, that is the time. Okay, so here m I have taken common, it will become v minus u upon t. Okay, now you know v minus u upon t is your acceleration A. So what it became? ma. Okay, so rate of change of momentum is equal to mass into acceleration. Till here we got. Okay, now according to the Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum is proportional to the applied force. Now only we saw in the sentence. So ma, that is rate of change of momentum, is directly proportional to F, that is the force. Okay, now if I want to remove this proportionality sign, students, what I have added? I have added a K. Okay, so you can see F is equal to K ma. K is equal to constant of proportionality and its value is 1. Okay, students, so what is the equation if it is 1? So 1 into ma, answer will be ma. So what we got? F is equal to m into a. Yes, this is the formula which you will remember. If the same force is applied on different objects, the change in momentum is same. Now if there are two different objects but same force is applied, then the change in momentum is also same. Okay, students, I hope you understood this formula. F is equal to m into a. Okay, we'll proceed. So next you will remember, in SI system the unit of force is Newton. Okay, 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg into 1 meter per second square. Important to remember. Newton, what is the definition? The force necessary to cause an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in an object of mass 1 kg is called 1 Newton. Then you will remember dyne, CGS system, the unit of force is dyne. Dyne, how you will write? 1 dyne is equal to 1 gram into 1 centimeter per second square. So the force necessary to cause an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square in an object of mass 1 gram is called 1 dyne. Okay, students, you will remember here, important is to remember the units for the force. Okay, we'll proceed to the Newton's third law of motion. Now what is the Newton's third law of motion, students? Every action force has an equal and opposite reaction force which acts simultaneously. Okay, students, you will write this laws as it is when it is asked in exam. Next year also you're going to have this. Okay, so learn them by heart. Okay, action and reaction are terms that express force. Okay, these forces acts in pairs. One force cannot exist by itself. Okay, so one force you will not see, both the forces will be there acting together. Action and reaction forces act simultaneously. Action and reaction forces acts on different objects. They do not act on the same object and hence cannot cancel each other's effect. As they are acting on different objects are involved, hence their effect we cannot cancel out. Okay, students, I hope Newton's third law of motion you have understood. Okay, we'll proceed. Now the next term is law of conservation of momentum. Okay, now what is this, students? Suppose an object A has mass m1 and its initial velocity is u1. Object B has mass m2 and initial velocity u2. Okay, according to the formula for momentum, the initial momentum of A is m1 u1. Yes, you have now P is equal to m into v. There v is what? Your whatever the final velocity, that is there v. But here as we have considered initial velocity, we will write that according to the formula for momentum, initial momentum of A is m1 u1 and of B is m2 u2. Okay, suppose these two objects colloid. Now they are colloiding. Okay, let the force on A due to B be F1. Okay, this force will cause acceleration in A and its velocity will become v1. Yes, now when they are colloiding, of course, now the force is applied by B on A, so its velocity will increase. Yes, and it will become v1. Okay, as the A is getting accelerated. Now the momentum of A after collision, it will become m1 v1. Now after collision, of course, velocity will change and that we are taking as v1 now. Okay, so momentum of A after collision m1 v1. Okay, according to the Newton's third law of motion, if now B is exerting some force on A will also exert some force on B. Yes, so A also exerts an equal force on B, but how is the direction, students? Opposite direction. Okay, so this will cause a change in the momentum of B momentum will also, there will be a change. What it will become? If its velocity after collision is v2, then the momentum of B after collision, students, will become m2 v2. Now if F2 is the force that acts on the object B, F2 is the force, okay, so you know that if the F2 is the force that acts on the object B, we will have the equation F2 is equal to minus F1. Why, students? Because equal force is there, but how is the direction? Opposite direction. So we have to take one force as the negative. Yes, so F2 is equal to minus F1. Okay, students, so we will see now. Therefore, what you are getting? M2A2. Okay, because you have M2A2, F2, right? So F2 we can write as M2A2 is equal to minus M1A1. You know, since F is equal to MA, we have seen this also. Yes. Now A2, can I write it as V2 minus U2 upon T? Yes. Why? Because you know this, A is equal to V minus U upon T. So this we are writing. We have taken it as 2. Okay, V2 minus U2 upon T. Here it will become V1 minus U1 upon T. Okay, now what will, students, happen? This T and T can be cancelled out. You get this equation. Okay, M2 in bracket V2 minus U2 bracket close is equal to minus M1 V1 minus U1. Okay, now I'll multiply this M2 with this V2 and M2 with this U2. Okay, this is the equation you get. Okay, students, and now what I'll do, I'll take all these similar terms together, M2 V2 and M1 V1 I'll take together. So what it became, this minus sign, when it came to this side it became plus. So M2 V2 plus M1 V1 is equal to M1 U1 plus M2 U2. Okay, so you are going to solve this equation and see, important is our this equation final, which we are going to use in solving the sums. Okay, students, so do it properly. Now should we proceed? Yes. So the magnitude of the total final momentum we saw is equal to magnitude of the total initial momentum. Yes. Thus, if no external force is acting on the two objects, then their total initial momentum is equal to their total final momentum. If there is no force also acting, then also momentums are going to remain same. When no external force acts on two interacting objects, if no external force are there and the two objects are interacting, their total momentum remains constant. It does not change. Okay. Now, this is corollary to the Newton's third law of motion. The momentum is unchanged after the collision. The momentum gets redistributed between the colliding objects. Why? Because it is getting distributed there only. The momentum of one of these objects decreases while the other increases. Thus, we can also state this corollary as follows. When two objects collide, the total momentum before collision is equal to the total momentum after collision. This is the important part which you need to by heart. Okay, remaining all sentences not that much important, but the highlighted black color sentences what I have written are important for you to remember as the law of conservation of momentum. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now, should we proceed? So, in order to understand this principle, let us consider the example of a bullet fired from a gun. Okay, when a bullet of mass m1 is fired from a gun of mass m2, its velocity becomes v1 and its momentum becomes m1 v1. Okay, before firing the bullet, both the gun and the bullet are at rest, and hence their total initial momentum is 0. Initial momentum is going to 0 because they are at rest. Okay, but after, what will happen when I am firing it, what it will become? It will become m1 v1. Okay. Now, according to the above law, the total final momentum always has to be 0. Yes, initial is 0, then final also has to be 0, right? Thus, the forward moving bullet causes the gun to move backward after firing. There is a backward movement of the gun when the bullet is fired, and this backward movement of the gun, we call this backward motion as the recoil. Okay students, the velocity of recoil V2 is such that you can use this formula m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to 0, because you know initial value is 0. So that this here m1 u1 plus m2 u2, all thing will become 0. Okay, so now if you want to calculate this v2 is your recoil when you are talking about in terms of a gun and a bullet example. Okay, so if I want to calculate the v2 value, students, what is my formula changing to? v2 is equal to minus m1 upon m2 multiplied by v1. So this formula you will use to calculate the velocity of recoil. What is recoil, students? When the bullet is fired from the gun moves backward. Okay, slightly it will move backward, and that backward jerk motion is called as the recoil. Okay student, so I hope till here whatever we have done today's part of revision, you are cleared with it. We have completed the revision of this lesson also. Please go through the important are the equation, Newton's laws, okay, and the formulas, units. Okay students, so we'll meet in the next presentation with the next lesson revision part. Okay, thank you. Saira.